Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Schaefer back with you. We're going back to our survivors of the Holocaust. 6 true stories of extraordinary children. All right, we've seen Heinz, we've seen Trudy, we've seen Ruth. We've got Martin yesterday and today. Sorry, guys, I'm thinking about the sneeze. Woo! All right, allergy season, man. Springtime. All right, I'm going Suzanne's story today. All right, so I'm going to go to page 61 because that's where it starts. See, that's why table of contents are so usable and so easy because look, boom, I'm here. Here's Suzanne. All right, I just want to remind you guys. Remember, these stories are literally like the words of these interviewers, right? These interviewees, these people, these true people. So this is not. I know it sounds kind of weird sometimes. Or it sounds like someone's talking. Well, that's because it is, right? It's actually them. The people that interviewed them took their words and made them into this graphic novel. So here's our first page. Anybody know where we're at there? Looks like Paris, but I could be wrong. To me, that looks like the Eiffel Tower. Let's see what's up. Oh, I was right. Oh my, Paris was gorgeous. I lived in the 20th arrondissement. That means like a city. I loved Paris. Being a little girl there was fun. We used to walk along the Seine and over bridges. My mom used to put me on a carousel ride. We watched marionettes in the park. They were always music playing. It was a lovely life. It was a cultured life. Culture means like arts and music and food and like just a very fancy kind of lifestyle. That's kind of what I think of when I think of France anyway, right? Or Paris. I remember going to preschool. I loved going there, but I didn't go there for very long. Uh-oh. What do you know? Their lives are about to change. Slowly, my life began to change. The first thing we couldn't do was we couldn't go out. You started to hear noises that you hadn't heard before. It was really scary sometimes. As I understood it now, we were occupied, and all the shooting and activity you could hear outside were Nazi soldiers. The day it happened, it was August and it was hot. It was with my father at the window, and suddenly he said, "They're here." Very familiar, right? Nazis move in, slowly starts changing. Next thing you know, we went into the bedroom and my mom pushed me under the bed. Oh. You could hear all these boots on the stairs, and they banged on the door. We didn't answer the door, and we stayed in the bedroom. Then they took an axe and came and told us. And they told my parents, "Out, pack a bag." During all the commotion, Madame Colombe came in. She was our next door neighbor. "What's my child doing in this apartment?" She took my hand and took me away. You get what she did? The neighbor came out and then took her. Okay. Again, reminds me of our Number the Stars book, guys. That's the neighbor. She's trying to save the kid. How did they realize what she was doing? We would have all been shot on spot. She got away with it. Sorry, I spit. Dude, the neighbor came and saved her, took her from her. She took me to the apartment and put me underneath her dining table and a big Chanel tablecloth over it. She made me a little bed, and I lived there for 2 or 3 weeks. It was solitary, and it was so lonely, and it was dark. I had nightmares there. I never saw my parents again after that, and I was lost. A totally lost child. Dude, the neighbor made her hide. She slept in there for 2 or 3 weeks under a table so she could survive and not get caught. After that, Madame Colombe took me out one night, and furtively we had to go on a train. The first hiding place she took me was to Montebleau, which is southwest of Paris. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go out on the street because there were German soldiers everywhere. They hid me in a sort of strange outhouse. I stayed there for 2 years hiding. Then I was taken to Auvergne, to a farm in the middle of nowhere. There was no electricity and no water. You had to be self-sufficient. You grew up overnight. Imagine being that young, guys. Like you're in a shipped across the world, dropped in like this outhouse, small little tiny shack all by yourself, and you had to figure it out. I slept occasionally inside the house, but then other times I went and slept with the goat, because she had some kids. They were warm and they were friendly, and would snuggle against your cheek. During the day I had to go out and work like a man. It was hard in the winter when it was frozen. My hands were blue and they were cracked and bleeding and sore. Look at that. And my feet were in the same condition because I didn't have shoes. I used to sit down and cry sometimes, but I didn't do any good, so I stopped doing that. Nobody heard. Nobody ever said, I'll explain what happened to you. I'll explain what war means. I'll explain what happened to your parents, that you were never going to see them again. I will explain that you're never going back to your house in Paris. Forget it. It's gone. Just had no idea, man. There, the war ended in 1945, and I was still in the Auvergne for 2 years. We didn't know. We hadn't been told. I didn't know the war was over because we didn't have newspapers. We didn't have a radio and didn't have electricity. Nobody knew. How crazy is it? So she stayed there for another 2 years after the war was over because they had no connection with the world out there, hidden in this wasteland. Now, at the bottom it says Suzanne was eventually rescued by the Red Cross and taken to live with her grandmother in Newcastle, England. So she did. I'm glad she made it to her grandmother's house. But imagine those years. That was like preschool age, right? So she was like first, second, third grader when she's doing all this stuff. Fourth grader. Man. Okay, I want to go to the back and show you this. The real Suzanne here. Here she is. And again, a lot of you in my class were saying that she looked the youngest out of all these people. Well, that makes sense, right? Because she was like a preschooler when this started going down. So it says it took Suzanne many years to learn and understand what happened to her during the war. She now has 2 sons and several grandchildren. Madame Cologne, Suzanne's rescuer, has been recognized for her bravery at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum in Israel. So, pretty cool. The lady that saved her actually got recognized in an actual museum of saving her. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. We got one more story, Eric's story. And I got a little peek in there. It looks like he's actually in a death camp. So, I don't know what we're going to find out there. All right, guys, I'll see you next time.